I always said guiding was glorified babysitting some days.
Yikes.
So, because I've had people show up turkey hunting and they hand me the box that they bought their shotgun with the sticker still on from Bass Pro Shop.
No.
And can you put this together for me?
Oh my
What?
goodness.
And then it's, no, sir, you're going to be using my gun today.
You're listening to the Letdown podcast.
It's like buck fever.
One shot at a time.
That's a big buck.
Two-part question here. What's the one thing you miss about being a guide? And the one thing you do not miss about being a guide?
See, I thought that was going to be a hard question.
No. I don't ask
No,
hard
so
questions.
that's easy. So the one thing I miss about being a guide is every day when you come back from hunt camp, you're sitting there having fun with your boys and you're talking about the hunt and everything like that. I got to do that pretty much every day. So that to me was sweet. Like you got to, be around everybody, high five and drinking beers, just having a great time. And you got to be around that every single day. And a lot of times you were the highlight because you were the one that put them in that spot and, got them those birds or what have you. Things that I don't miss are the close calls, the people that don't know what they're doing or shouldn't be carrying weapons.
Yeah, that makes
I was
sense.
almost shot twice.
Jeepers.
So yeah, that scares you. But thankfully it doesn't happen all the time, and you just watch your back and make sure people aren't being stupid. Which is it. I always said guiding was glorified babysitting some days.
Yikes.
So, because I've had people show up turkey hunting and they hand me the box that they bought their shotgun with the sticker still on from Bass Pro Shop.
No.
And can you put this together for me?
What?
My goodness.
And then it's, no, sir, you're going to be using my gun today. And yeah.
Can you imagine? My goodness.
Yeah, sorry, I just bought this. Can you put it together? Ooh, and what?
Yep. Oh, yeah, it's lots of
Don't
fun.
worry. Guys, don't worry about sighting it in or anything.
No.
Just put it together.
Well, you don't need to do that for turkeys. You don't need to pattern it or, anything like that. So, but
Fair enough.
thankfully, at that point, we had good sponsors. So we had nice shotguns that sadly you're not allowed to use anymore. But yeah, they were really nice guns. And yeah, so he got to use that for the day. And I can't remember if he got his bird or not. It was a long day, that one.
Is that one of those guns that you don't drop? Because you bought it?
No, you could drop that one. It looked like an AR. It was a Daria MK12.
Okay. That's a nice gun.
So
They are
best turkey gun I've ever owned. Shot a bird at 62 yards one day.
Jeepers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we get too far into it, thanks to Justin, I wanted to introduce our guest tonight. It's Dale Martin. So Dale's a former guide with Wingfeather Outfitters, archer, hunter, family man, and somebody who still takes pride in helping new hunters experience their first harvest. For me personally, Dale is the guy who guided me through my first successful turkey hunt. Patient, grounded, and the kind of outdoorsman to remind you that hunting was always supposed to be about more than antlers and social media posts. So,
How's this guy's right here?
So from guiding camps and making an appearance on Babe Winkelman to balancing fatherhood, marriage, work, and life in the woods, tonight's conversation is about mentorship, hunting culture, and the people who quietly help keep these traditions alive. So it's going to feel less like an interview and more like a sitting around a campfire with a guy who's got a lifetime of stories. So welcome to the Letdown, Dale.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. So let's go back to young Dale Martin. What kind of first pulled you into hunting?
Oh, so my old man, he's done that since I was a baby. He can tell you stories of me being in a car seat, driving around the back roads, shooting grouse, and being told, plug your ears because Dad was pretty close to the road sometimes. But yeah, it was kind of ingrained in me from day one. We had family that hunted, and yeah, I didn't really have a choice, I don't think, but it took pretty quick.
That's awesome. And so you've been kind of hunting your whole life then, basically?
Yeah, my old man gave me a bow when I was little, and I would just had dowels with a nut screwed on the end of the dowel for some weight, and I would go out and hunt groundhogs with my German Shepherd. and
Wow.
I was like 5, 6 years old.
Jeez. Nice.
So
And sorry, did immediately become part of your identity? Like hunting became part of your identity, you think?
yeah, later in life, once I started shooting archery a lot more, I got sponsored when I was younger, for different companies. So, it just led, my dad would be like, "Why are you practicing so much in the backyard?" And I said to him at the one point, I said, "I'm going to make my living in the hunting industry." And yeah, when I was guiding, I was. So
And why do you think some people become obsessed with the outdoors while others don't?
maybe the right first, being involved into it. Some people might get the wrong first chance. Something might happen where, an animal's wounded, they don't get it, or they go out and they don't hear anything at all. And just frustration. So, people that are starting out, getting out with a guide is something I kind of push, because you're getting the knowledge, you can ask 1,000,001 questions, and you can get the information. So, starting off on the right foot is probably the biggest thing
Mhm.
I would say people should do in hunting.
Yeah, so you definitely don't become a guide unless hunting becomes more than a hobby then, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's, I kinda got into it, and it was kind of an accident, really. My ex was, we were looking at getting a dog, and we were, gonna get one from, like, a pound or a shelter, and she had called this one number, and she's like, "Oh, Griffith Island," and my ears perked up because I had heard about that place, and so we ended up, getting the dog, and when I was up there, I asked him about a job, and no one that guided for them could run a mouth call for turkeys, and I called, like, 16 birds down a alleyway with a mouth call, and he's like, "Yeah, you're hired." And
Nice.
that's kind of what started my guiding. But Griffith Island, you're stuck on a 2,200 acre island for 10 days. So it's not really the funnest.
Okay. So is it, do you think it's more rewarding to watch somebody harvest their first deer or bear or actually doing it?
It's more rewarding for me, to watch someone do their first, like, for yourself, shooting your first bird. I personally enjoy seeing people get their first bird and get that enjoyment, and kind of understand the love that I have for the hunt. So
Nice. Um, do you remember certain hunts more because of people than the animal?
a mixture. Certain situations, you snuck right in under a roost and that bird dropped down and, did what he was supposed to do. Yeah, you remember that. But then there's also people that I've taken out that I had them year after year that they become more than, they're just friends. And, those hunts, they mean a lot. So, yeah, like I can remember back to certain situations where well, as you've seen from the baby Winkelman, people thought I was nuts for putting them in situations like that, but it worked out. And I
Hmm.
think those are the ones that kind of make the stories.
Yeah, it's kind of like I always say there's no selfless acts. Uh, and I got that from Joey from Friends, but I've actually tested the theory, and like even for me running a club, right? I could say, oh, like people will say, oh, it's pretty selfless to give all your time and do this, but I get something out of it, right?
Mhm.
I get to feel like I'm heading up a community. I get to feel like I get to show people their first time with a bow. Like for me, that's awesome. So I guess it's kind of the same rewarding thing for you, and you also get to kind of show off your skills, right? Like oh yeah, there's no way you're gonna get that bird, and you're like, want to bet, and then you go and do it, right? So like
Yeah.
on Babe,
So, the,
like you actually. I saw the aerial. It was a little patch of bush that was separating you and the bird, and you guys got in there and you called him
mhm.
in. So
Yeah, that was pretty fun. And, yeah, guiding with a camera is a whole different pain. Um, like, there was one morning I had some birds roosted. It was gonna be a really sweet day, and I was so excited, because there was a nice fog and everything, and nothing better to hunt a bird and he, walks out of the fog and into the field. And, I'm envisioning all this in the morning, and all of a sudden I get a text from the guys, and they're like, "Yeah, it's too wet. We can't go." I'm like, "What?" Like, it's a perfect day. And yeah, you couldn't go because there was too much fog.
Jeez. Yeah, I guess the lenses would all fog up or something, I
Hmm.
suppose.
Yeah, everything you see on TV isn't what actually happens.
Yeah, because I guess like it always seems like it's chronological, but I guess a lot of times they're doing some of your interviews before and after, and they're doing cuts so that and then you talk to Rick Marchand about B rolls. I'll speak about.
Yeah. So the footage of us walking across a field talking, that's the next day.
Yeah, of course.
And I remember he was telling me, I'm like, you're kidding me. Like, we're not going turkey hunting in the morning. We're going back to the field where there's no turkeys to videotape us walking across the field. Mhm. Like, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that was a young Dale Martin. How many years ago was that you were on the show?
Boy, I'd have to look on the actual posting on YouTube and see when that was listed. But yeah, that was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's the video I watched. It said it was 10 years old.
wow,
Yeah. So
very
yeah, 30 years old because I'll be 40 this year.
good. Wow,
So
congratulations. Welcome to
yeah,
manhood.
I don't, I don't, I don't want to get out of my 30s.
Nobody does,
Although,
Dale. Trust me.
although, I'm in a place in archery right now where it's like there's some killers out there, and I'm not shooting that great right now. So having boys like Mason and all those guys and Misha, he's doing really good right now, and they're just some good shooters, and it's good to see for one. But yeah, I still have the mentality that I can keep up with those boys, and the odd time it happens, but yeah, it's getting a little bit more few than far between.
Yeah, and then like for me, I remember thinking when I first started archery, I'm like, well, like because when I started first tournament shooting archery, I was in my late 40s, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I turned 50, I don't have to compete now with Josh Webb, I don't have to compete now with but you get up to the 50s, and it's not any easier. They're all good.
I was gonna say that division right now is a bunch of killers. Like
Yeah,
I
you
don't
got
know what
Bruno.
Ian and Bruno have down there, but they're just steel sharpening steel, and they're doing great.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. When did
So
you start tournament shooting?
boy, I was my first tournament. I was 17. So yeah, 23 years ago. So yeah, that was a long time ago.
And I remember when I met you. The first time I met you was at 2023 provincials.
Oh yeah, the day I went fishing.
And at that time, I think you were shooting PSE then. Can't remember.
Could have been.
Yeah.
No, I had my weight fanatic.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So no, well, yeah, because I'd shot for Bowtech for 11 years.
Oh wow. Wow. Yeah, that
So
was that was quite the experience for me because that was probably my first major tournament, and they
mm,
put me in the wrong category because that I just turned 50 on
mhm.
2023, and I was shooting with you guys. I was shooting with I guess there's a couple of 40-year-olds and yourself, and you know late 30s, I guess. And I remember it started raining, and he just looked at us and said, "Yeah, I've had enough of this. I'm just gonna go fish."
Mhm.
I was like,
Well,
I
there was
was
people
worse.
slipping and sliding down the hills, and
Oh yeah.
it was a bad day to shoot a bow. It was a really good day to go fishing though. So
I,
you know,
How did you do
I,
that, Dave?
I was going to ask, how'd you do that day?
it it was pretty good. So the lake that we stay at, it's a family cottage. So it's full of large and small mouth bass. So on a rainy day, oh, it's killer.
And
So
so because you are like tournament archer, you're also a bow hunter.
Mhm.
Uh, do you think uh, do you think bow hunting helps your tournament archery and vice versa?
1000%. Yeah, that's how I got into tournaments. I was already a bow hunter in the local archery store in our own sound. They told me about these archery tournaments. And yeah, the first couple I went to, I did pretty well. Like I was beating all the old men, which, they were 30 and 40-year-olds at the point, but I was a young kid and it just lit a fire under me. And yeah, I kind of just went at it 100%. And at one point, my busiest year, I shot 26 tournaments in 1 year.
Oh wow.
So,
It's a lot.
but gas was a lot cheaper and motels were under $100 a night. So,
Oh man, yeah, I miss those days.
mhm.
Yeah, you could just go traveling around and just do different things. I think one of the one summer when Val and I first got into, and we went almost every weekend. We went to a 3D shoot in 22, just
Hmm.
after you were allowed to because of COVID. But
Mm.
and we were driving around with because we'd met Carl Dorner at Shooter's Choice. So
He's a character.
he is a character, and we definitely got to know him. And I maybe he's not everyone's cup of tea, but I do like Carl.
I like Carl.
Um,
He's a nice guy.
so he
Mm.
we did a lot of shooting. He had some good advice. He helped us with
Mhm.
tournament shooting. So, and I think I always like, for me, I always thank Carl, because if it wasn't for Carl, I don't think I would have really got into 3D tournaments. So,
He's a great
and
dude, and
yeah.
Carl and I love to chat, and my background in hunting and his love of hunting and stuff,
Mm,
knowledge. We talk quite a bit when we're up there shooting, but yeah, he's a great dude.
yeah, I agree. Totally agree. So we're gonna talk about my first turkey. So, which I have to say thank you for that. It was an awesome experience. I have to say. And like, uh I still, like, I'll be at work, and so in my job I get to do a lot of thinking.
Mm.
It's part of what I do, figuring out problems and such, and sometimes other things kind of sneak in there, like my archery process, and then the turkey. And it was it, it's it was so unreal. And like when you're talking with the mouth call and whatever, like, it's like, you're awesome. Like, you were the with the slate call, with the mouth call. You had those gobblers just coming right in. They were almost making a beeline to you, and I don't know what made them kind of think again, because they kind of just started to
Mm.
meander away a little bit. And that's when Ryan Gingrich, who also helped on the hunt. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan was like, "Okay," he was whispering to me. I was like, "Okay, get ready, get ready, get ready."
Mm.
And then we took our shots, and yeah, it was. So, like, with that experience, like, why do you still help new hunters?
I would just love helping people, really. It doesn't matter if I'm hunting someone's D-loop brakes on a 3D course. I see someone with a flat tire, I'm probably gonna help them. It's one of those things. I think I'm I just enjoy it, like, and it doesn't help or happen as much this day and age. So, archery is one of the weird ones where everybody seems to be very, very helpful and just,
Mhm.
will drop anything to help people. And maybe that's why I've gotten the way I am, because of being in archery so long. But yeah, I don't know. I just enjoy helping people. You know, long as they're, you know, good people.
Yeah,
I'm not going
that's
to,
fair.
take, someone that's, you know, rude and ignorant. Yeah,
That's
you
fair.
go sit in the bush and get eaten by mosquitoes. But yeah,
I got a good spot for
someone
them
like
for that.
yourself that is no different, you enjoy helping people, then
I do,
hell,
yeah.
I'll take people out and let them enjoy shooting birds, and I enjoy birds getting shot. So,
Well, I do too now. So
hmm
I didn't believe it. I didn't believe they actually existed. I was shocked. It
hmm
was
Yeah,
actually I'd never been that close to the. I think we were 30 yards. I'd never been that close to one, and the
wait
sounds
till
that
you
come
shoot
out of
one at
those
5
things.
feet.
Hopefully someday, someday. And so, like, what do you enjoy the most introducing people to hunting?
Mm, just the excitement that they see and feel. Like, the one that kind of gets me is I had some northern boys years ago, and they came down and they had never heard a bird gobble until, the night before when we roosted. And we snuck in and we're sitting there, and these two jakes, we were about, 8 to 10 feet apart, just on these trees. And these two jakes walked right in between us and walked out into the field. And I'm watching Buddy, he's on the gun, and that gun wasn't moving until that jake walked past him. And that thing just started doing figure eights. And I'm giggling. And the first guy shot. And of course, at that distance, your pattern's about that big. Well, he missed. But the concussion of the shot going past the turkey's head rattled his brain. So the turkey's down there shaking his head. So his buddy shoots. Well, he misses. And at this point, I'm laughing. I can't hold myself. And finally they shoot the bird, and then they just bend over and laugh, and everybody just had a great laugh about it. And they're like, "You couldn't have had him come in at like 30, 40 yards. You had to put him at 5 feet." I'm like, "Not my."
I control that.
Yeah. But yeah, his barrel went from just steady as a rock to yeah. So that I enjoy. I love seeing people get that rush and just an adrenaline dump.
Yeah, it was.
So
Hey folks, the Letdown podcast has teamed up with Stray Sons Co., a Southern Ontario-born hunting apparel brand bringing high-quality gear to our fellow Canadian hunters. New tees, hats, and hoodies released every month. Use code LETDOWN15 to save 15% at checkout. That's LETDOWN15, all caps, to save 15% at checkout.
All right, back from the break. Welcome,
okay,
Misha.
Misha.
Thanks. I had a bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah, power was out on your street or something.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Crazy.
All right, fill me in.
All right. Well, I think we were just talking about first-time hunters, and Dale was telling a story about two northern boys who were having a blast, missing some jakes, and then finally getting them. So it's a good story till you interrupted.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm just telling you did get through the whole story. So
All
it's
right.
all right.
No. But yeah, no, having guys just have adrenaline dumps and just, enjoy their self is, payment to me. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
And, you get to talk about that for years.
That's the thing. Like I helped Valerie get her first bear, for example, and that was for me was more exciting than ever shooting anything. Like it was just to see her face and like the joy and the just she was overjoyed. Just she never really had been hunting before. Like we went for birds a couple of times. And I don't know, so it just takes you back to when you had your first time, like because killing it, your first like major animal or whatever is going to be is something you won't forget, and it's something that you never get to do again, right? So, and then watching Valerie do it was like reminded me of and so I don't know, it's like does that happen to you? Like, do first time hunters remind you of yourself?
100%. Well, even to this day, I can tell you exactly how my first turkey hunt went, but I can't tell you what I shot my second bird that I ever shot.
Yeah.
I can't remember, anything about it really, but I can tell you my first bird, like I had a tom on top of the hill gobbling and 3 jakes went single file in front of me, and I was like, nope. And yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, those ones you remember, but you don't. You don't really remember the second ones unless it was something special that really happened. So
Yeah, and then it's like you were saying earlier about the time with the boys, or now with girls as well, right? Like it's that time at camp. The story just. I remember when I just this last year when I shot that moose. That being my first moose. I've been on parties where we've shot moose, but I've never really shot one myself. And that was like you're king for the day. Like everyone just like my brother, he got a little tipsy and and he must have told the story and how proud he was that and it's like it was it's such a good time. I don't know how. Yeah, there's so much emotion. There's so much, even after all the adrenaline's gone. You're just happy, and you can't get that the shit eating grin off your smile off your face for the rest of the evening. So, and then the scotches don't help, don't hurt either. So, but yeah,
yeah.
and I did get to learn a lot from you, Dale, just hunting with you. So, I got to learn things I didn't know about turkeys, like the fact that they don't come out of the roost until they can see the ground. That I did not know. I don't know if I should be giving all your secrets away, but that's one thing.
I'll tell anybody that asks. So
No, there you go. So, and when the crows start cawing before the turkeys don't gobble, it's time to move on. That was something I did not know. I've sat in many areas just waiting and waiting and waiting. So,
typically, if the crows are going and the birds aren't gobbling yet, I'll throw in some aggressive calling and try to wake them up. If sometimes they just sleep in, but yeah, most of the time now they've moved off. So
yeah, and then we moved to a much better spot like you said, 15 minutes of walking and 5 minutes of hunting was
Mhm.
it was incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, and sometimes it happens like that. You walk in, bird gobbles, you sit up there, and I drop back 20 yards, and 5 minutes later, we're taking pictures.
I just remember Ryan and I were sitting there, and he's like, "Did you see that?" And I was like, "Nope." And he's like, so he really gingerly points his finger, and I looked down. I looked to the end of his finger, and I was like, "Oh." He's like, "There's two of them." I was like, "Oh my god!" So, and then the fun starts. My goodness.
And
There-
that's the thing. I get to have a backseat view of all that.
Yeah.
And there's some times where I'm sitting there like, you just sit still, like don't move. But it's pretty good. Obviously, you and Ryan have hunted quite a bit, so it makes my job pretty easy at that point. So
Yeah, Ryan was. I remember Ryan saying to me, he says, "Oh, you waited till they went behind the tree before you moved," because I had to shift knees. I remember being at the wrong angle, and they got behind the tree, and I was like, I shifted my knee, and and then the action. That's when the action started. That was
Mhm.
because that's when they started. We weren't sure if they were actually gonna make their way back to you, or if they're just gonna take off.
Yeah,
So, and then I
pulled
was
the
losing my
fan up
angle
too.
too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I seen that they were getting to your far right, I pulled the fan up so it stopped them. So it just makes them hold up so you get a better chance of getting a shot.
Well, there you go. See,
So
a consummate professional.
Never even like thought about that. Not even.
I've had birds that won't come out of strut for guys in the decoys, and I don't wear gloves when I'm turkey hunting, and you just go like this, and you just wave your hand, and they'll whoop, then boom.
What?
Really?
You just wave at them, huh?
Yeah, or I've Jakes.
Amazing.
Jakes are really stupid. So Jakes, I've even went, hey turkey, and they gobble, and then they shoot them.
Fuck. How the hell do I ever get outsmarted if that's what you're
Trust
doing?
me. I've hunted birds that I've tried everything. I even have a fully taxidermied tom that I use as a decoy. And I couldn't kill this one bird for the life of me. The one night, it was like the second last day of the season. My wife and I, well, girlfriend at the time, we're driving past and I seen this turkey and a jake walking around. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try and sneak in. And I didn't have any camo on, just had shorts on. And I snuck to the top of the hill, went to pull my mouth call out of my pocket, and it had fallen. So I'm like, well, crap. So I just used my voice. Ended up, the bird fires up and call him into 30 yards and killed him. And I'm like, you stupid birds. Like, I've tried everything to kill you. And then yeah.
One time you're not ready.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And, how many thousands of dollars worth of gear do I have in my truck? And I wear a pair of shorts and a black shirt. And yeah. Sure beats the
Beautiful.
safety gear.
Beautiful. Well, it takes you back to the old days. Like I know my old man killed a lot of moose with a plaid jacket and a pair of jeans, right? So all the things people
That
tell you
whole,
not to wear nowadays. So
Makes you
that
wonder
whole
what.
analogy, sit still and don't move or don't talk. Yeah.
that's what he would always tell me. To sit still.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you're saying I didn't have to spend $1,200 on camo?
Of course he did. Gotta look good on social media.
Misha will definitely help you.
Said, oh, well, thanks.
What you
Kidding.
need to do is get some nice Stray Suns camouflage shirts.
Yeah.
I'm working on.
Then when we take pictures with turkeys, just saying.
Yeah, I agree.
How's the shirt fit you?
That one fits really good, actually. Yeah.
Good to hear.
I was thinking of wearing it tonight, but didn't want to have two of us wearing the same shirt. So
That's all right. Don't.
So getting back to guiding, was it hard to step away from guiding?
yes, yeah. The big push was the bank really doesn't look at guiding as a full-time job.
Mm.
So, starting a family, getting married, I had to grow up and get a regular job and step away from guiding and full time anyway. I still, take people out obviously, but it's more so friends and family and, but yeah, no, it was very hard to step away from it.
I mean, I probably missed it, but how long were you guiding for?
Better part of 10 years for 3 different companies.
Did you, what,
So Griffith Island for one, and then I went to Grey Bruce Outfitters. And then when Luke split from Grey Bruce and started Wingfeather, I transitioned with them.
so you focused mainly on migratory birds and turkeys, or did you do deer as
I did
well?
deer and bear and a few things. So,
Nice.
but my niche was deer and turkey.
Very nice.
Do you have a favorite?
Waterfowl, all I did was scout.
Yeah, well, that's one of the hardest parts is scouting for waterfowl.
Mm-hmm. What was that, Justin?
Sorry, do you have a favorite? Like, if you could only hunt one animal or a guide for one animal, what would it be?
Definitely turkey.
Turkey?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Waterfowl, anybody can go sit in a blind and, pop shots at birds that you call in, but turkey's more personal. You're actually, walking that guy, you're chatting, you get to know them. So, yeah, turkey. Plus, you get in pretty good shape.
Now I'm starting to feel my bad shape. I don't know how I'm
So,
walking.
you and me both, buddy. Compared to what I used to do, like, yeah, it was because, yeah, I did, 34 to 35 days straight turkey hunting.
Wow, that's a lot of walking.
Hmm.
That's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
So did becoming a dad change how you think about hunting?
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those things, I can't wait to where he's old enough to, have him go out in the bush. And, just have him tag along with me because he's one of these kids that has to do what dad is doing. So if
No,
I'm
cool.
cutting grass, he has to be on the lawnmower. If I, move the four-wheeler, he has to be on my lap. So I can only imagine. And we already go hunting. We have a salt gun in the kitchen that we shoot flies and spiders with. So we go hunting every night pretty much.
Yes. Gonna mount any of those?
No, they're not really mounters.
And how do you balance work, family, and an outdoor life now?
Outdoors is getting to be a little bit less. The first couple of years having a little guy, I kind of expected that until he's able to tag along and, help me convince mom to let us go. But, you got to help out as much as you can when they're little and
Yeah.
pays off when they're older, hopefully.
Does your
But
wife enjoy the outdoors as much at, at all, or
she has her license. She's went out turkey hunting a handful of times. She doesn't enjoy trying to keep up to me when we're turkey hunting. Learning to walk fairly quick. So, but yeah, she enjoys being outdoors. She has her own little niche. She likes to be behind a camera. So,
right on, right on? Might have to talk to her soon.
I
Use
sent Misha a message saying that if we can find someone that'll help out looking after Harvey, i.e., Valerie, then
that might not be too hard.
I didn't think it'd be a hard thing to do. So,
He's a cutie pie, man. Valley would
yeah,
love. Valley would have a good time.
yeah, but well, no, it's you just try to balance it, and I don't shoot as much as I would love, but it is what it is.
I know that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If I could shoot my bow every day, I would.
Trust me, I have a range in my backyard and a range in my shop, and I still don't get to shoot every day. So
Yeah, it's growing up is it's a difficult thing to do. I think so.
hmm. Yeah,
As men, I know we need hobbies for sure. So and
yeah.
keeps
Just
us.
actually, Josh and I were talking about that today about our hobbies being very expensive hobbies. So it's
As a few.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're saying how much are your bikes? Yeah, well, yeah, my boat's this much. It's like, well, crap.
Yeah, and Josh has
So
a few bikes, doesn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
you need two because you can't just ride one at a time.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
right. That's right. Well, he's got the Harley, and then he's got
Yep.
now he's
And
got
the
Ducati.
the
Ducati?
monster. Yeah, it's a Ducati Monster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beauty of a
It
bike.
is a really nice bike, and I would 100% love to have one, but I enjoy being married, so my choices are a bike or marriage. So yeah, I'll stay married.
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have my country Harley, my Suzuki. So
that's right. Yeah, you got the I can't remember what model Suzuki you have for the quad bike, but as they call it in Newfoundland. But
Yeah,
yep.
it's nice.
nice,
Nice
nice
bike.
bike.
Yeah. So when I work close to home, I used to ride that to work for Bike Week.
Nice.
Okay, very nice,
So
very nice. So getting into just a bit of a different topic here is more about sort of the future of hunting. Are you worried about the future of hunting? I know there's a lot of podcasters who are, so I've been listening to a few.
yes and no. COVID actually really helped because people had to get outside.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that helped out quite a bit. You've seen a definite influx of archers. A lot of people doing the hunting courses and stuff like that. So, I think that helped. I think, the knowledge gets out there that, people that hunt aren't just out there bloodthirsty to kill things. It's the experience. It's, listening to those birds in the morning, listening to, you know, different things, seeing otters swim and play and, different things. So it's not just, shooting big deer or, big anything. It's, myself, I have Crohn's disease. So for me, I eat more wild game than anything
Mm.
because that's the best thing for me. So, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
so there's like a little bit of a, I'll call it a phenomenon. I don't know what else to call it, but that I've noticed just doing this show. So I don't want to create divisions or anything. I think hunters are hunters, but you've got like a legacy hunter like yourself, myself. Like I grew up like you did. I grew up with my dad fishing, hunting. I was two when I was in a boat with my dad catching catfish.
Mhm.
And or I'd go with him on the trails to hunt grouse when I was like 3 or 4 when I could walk. And but then you've got a lot of these guys who've never, their family never hunted all the way back to their grandparents, and they just picked it up off of YouTube. And I
Mhm.
don't know, what kind of, not to criticize, but what are your thoughts on that?
Every family has to start somewhere. If you're the first hunter or the last hunter of the family, then, you know, isn't you might be the guy that starts everything and your nephews and everybody sees that and goes with you, and you might be you know, the Grandpa Dale that, starts that whole family lineage. It's one of those things. You have to share that experience. You have to take the kid down the street out. You have to, you know, start people into archery. People see, which I don't even watch it, but I think it was Hunger Games or whatever the lady was that shot the bow when we were doing the sportsman show and that and the zombie movie or show. What was that one with
Uh,
the striker crossbow?
Walking Dead.
That one, yeah. Everybody came in that year and tried to buy crossbows. And they're like, "Oh, this is on The Walking Dead." I'm like, "The Walking what?" But yeah, stuff like that. It does help. Movies like Bambi that hinders, but
Agreed. And I kind of feel the same way. Like it's like I've taken a few first time hunters. I always take them grouse hunting because it's usually pretty easy, and
Mhm.
we usually see something and they get to take a couple of shots, right? So,
Yep.
but the one that sticks out the most, I think I've told the story a few times, is that it was a 15-year-old kid. I took him out. His mom was totally against guns, but she said he can try it. And I remember when he shot his first grouse, he cried. Part of it was joy, and part of it was, that taking that life was it was hard for him because
Mhm.
the way he was raised. And like I remember, I thought my dad would make fun of him or something, but I remember my dad just looking at him going, "It's all right, dude. It's all right,"
Mhm.
and
It's an emotional dump of, everything. So, you know, it is one of those things that it is hard to, take in. Like this guy that I shot right here. When I shot him, I don't shake until after. But I was doing the tree shake boogie like no other after I shot him. Like, yeah, I was trying to text my buddy and it just came out gibberish. And yeah, I'm thankful that I shake after, not before, because I couldn't imagine what I'd do after that.
yeah, we'll have to talk to about Josh about that one. Apparently, he shakes
Mm,
before.
mhm. Yeah, the phone call I got after he shot his big deer, that's a good story to have, when we're back at the bar one day.
Yeah, I'll have to save that one for then.
Mhm.
Yeah. So going back to the family, what do you hope your kid learns from hunting someday?
Just the respect. The big thing with hunters is we give back to the conservation of things and, just everything, leave the woods better than it was, before you walked in. Like, I don't know how many times I've walked out of the bush and my turkey vest is full of garbage. Um, Other people aren't like that. I realize that, but yeah, just, clean stuff up. Make sure that, if you find a piece of steel in in the farmer's field, go pick it up and throw it in the fence line.
Yeah.
So it doesn't cost, puncture a tire.
Mm.
Just, respect. Don't make a 70-yard shot if you know you can't do it.
Yeah, that is important. Yeah, it's 'cause it teaches you a lot, right? Responsibility, accountability.
Mhm.
I know I was thinking about what my dad would teach me when we would go out. The first time I was able to hold a shotgun, and he asked me to shoot one of these. I remember it was a little, it was like a sapling, probably 2 or 3 inches of wren, and cut it in half. And he said, "You see, that's why you don't aim that at somebody.
Mhm.
You only aim it at something you're going to take out, right? Or
Mhm.
you're going to harvest or kill or whatever." So,
Yep.
and it was a lesson. I still remember it. I still remember that. And I remember like today, and it taught me, like I said, it taught me a lot about being accountable and being responsible, and that we have that responsibility out there. So,
Yep. Yeah, and, like, realistically, there's no one else out tromping through the bush doing what we do.
mhm,
So, you see, a wrapper that has fallen out of someone's pocket, you pick it up.
mhm.
Um, it's just being courteous, and I don't own any land to hunt really, so everybody's property that I hunt on, it's someone else's property. They pay the mortgage. So you be as courteous as you can. You see a limb that has fallen into his freshly planted beans, you go grab it and you pull it out if you can.
Well, and I know how much land you have access to, so that says a lot about you, sir.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not near as much as I used to have.
Oh, Jesus, jeepers.
How
Yeah,
much do you
yeah.
have
When I
again?
was guiding full time, I had it between 80 and 90,000 acres.
Wow,
My Lord.
Yeah,
wow, amazing.
so it's a full time job just getting all that permission every year.
Yeah, I bet.
I would bet. I bet.
I got 30 acres. I thought I was balling.
You are balling. Like, I got 0
Yeah,
acres.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
For deer, I don't hunt near. Like I have, I think 600 acres on 3 different farms that I hunt. Um, but yeah, turkey. Obviously you want more property because you've got better chances of different things. Like when we went out the first spot, there's no birds,
Mhm,
so you pivot, you go to another spot, you go.
mhm.
So
And again, this experience, Dale, that I will never forget, and I really thank you for that. So,
yeah,
and
my pleasure.
yeah. On that note, I want to thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Dale. Sorry I missed the first
Thank
half,
you.
but I was able to get in
That's
one.
okay, Misha. We took a picture of you and we put it up there in your place, and yeah, it was like all times.
I know it was like we had your old hair though, so it was a lot more
Yeah,
sexy.
halfway through, you got a haircut.
Good night, everybody. That was a letdown.
I'm Justin Harrison. You can find me on Instagram at Justy_785 or on Facebook. Just look up Justin Harrison.
I'm Misha Corso. You can find me on Instagram at Misha Corso. And if you're looking for some great bow hunting and sport shooting merch, look up Stray Sons Archery on Instagram.
I'm Crystal Fleur. If you want to find us, the show is Letdown Podcast on Spotify and YouTube. And on Instagram and Facebook, you can find us at the Letdown Podcast. Catch you next time. This was the Letdown. Thank you for listening. This was the